Hello and welcome to FDT-TV. We are on week 31 now, I believe.
Yes, that's correct.
We are, I would say, ploughing through the videos, but that sounds quite grim. But anyway, we're coming up to our 100th episode, Ian. We have been running for just over a year, and we are coming up to our 100th video. Yep. Keep tuned for that because it's going to be a special one. It's probably not really going to be a special one at all.
Be me dribbling on myself.
Some people would pay for
from
New York.
Houses.
Live from New York. Yes, so here we are. We're back. We're talking things football, mainly the Premier League, with our teams Arsenal, West Ham, and Liverpool. Stuff coming up in today's show, the same as it always is. The best goal. One good, one bad, VAR controversies, score updates from the last week, predictions, and then the word of the week, followed by the ending. So we're going to get straight into it. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit subscribe. I'm going in with this early, just in case I forget later on. So, Phil, I'm going to pass over to you with our best goal
of the week.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
Great intro, Ian. I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, weekend goals. Twitter this week went on fire. Narrowed it down to 3 and some special mentions as well. First of all is Eze. Crystal Palace.
Easy.
Young man.
Easy.
No, shut up.
An amazing free kick. First goal in the Premier League for him. Little young guy.
I feel that's washed over Phil's head a little bit.
Yeah.
Soccer I am. Carry on.
Old school soccer I am. Second, we had Bamford in that same game for his. I thought it was a takedown and half volley was pretty cool. And then I nominated as well Ollie Watkins. He had 2 goals against Arsenal. All right. The second one was quite good for Grealish's run, where he ran down the outside and then decided to push Bellerin into another country before passing it to Watkins for a finish. I wonder who everyone voted for. But the winner is, with an outstanding 80% of the votes this week, Ollie Watkins. Well done.
It was a good goal. Was a good goal.
Very good. So funny seeing Bellerin.
The less said about that, the better.
Well,
the less said about that, the better. So, yes, make sure you follow us all on Twitter. You can find our names down below, our video pictures. For the people that are listening on the audio, go check us out on YouTube. You can find us on LinkedIn. Not LinkedIn. You can find
us on LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn.
So you can find our links to our link tree, and you'll be able to see us on our varying platforms, audio only, YouTube, Twitter, blah, 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 blah. So we are going to come on to one of the things that I'm actually starting to really enjoy whilst doing this podcast. Ian, what is it?
One good, one bad.
So we had 3 games at the weekend that we have been very closely following. We have West Ham versus Fulham, Manchester City versus Liverpool, and Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Ian, yours was the first game of the weekend, so do you want to kick off your one good, one bad?
Well, I'm going to do one good, one bad in the tale of story mode, if that is okay.
Go for it.
So we start off with
some tense action coming from the West Ham Stadium, or London Stadium as it is now known, where it is a tense 90 minutes and it is 0-0 until Said Benrahma puts in a cross and a simple little slot from Thomas Souček into the bottom right for one good. Crowd go mad. Well, there wasn't a crowd, but the crowd went mad. It's just for the story, right? And then we think it's all over, and there's drama at the other end, where that main man who come on for his home debut gives away a penalty in the 96th minute or whatever it was in. VAR checked it and they say penalty. So that was bad. I'm going to have another one because Lookman Panenka's it straight into Fabianski's hands and the crowd go mad again. They're all happy. Yeah!
So that was actually 2 good, 1 bad, but who likes rules?
I've got to admit, actually, when I saw that penalty, to be honest, I think the result, it was a fair result. You definitely deserve the win.
Yep.
From what I saw, you were the more dominant team over the 90 minutes, and I think with the penalty being given, yes, I think personally it was the correct decision to give the penalty.
Yep.
But he is going to be sacked from any penalty duties going forwards. What the hell was he thinking?
Yeah, why not just hit it as hard as you can? Even if you put it down the middle, just drill it. Make sure that's going in.
At least put it down the middle. Don't just put it to one side, especially those.
I was listening to Troy Deeney, and it also reminded me of David Luiz as well. But Troy Deeney said on TalkSport this morning, and he slammed Lookman for his decision to be all cheeky and trying to flick it up and be all gentle with it. And he said that it will take a braver keeper to try and stop Troy Deeney's penalty than just to let it go in. Because he said he absolutely blasted it. And it just reminds me of David Luiz as well. Some of the penalties I've seen him take in the past where he just takes about a 40-yard run up from the halfway line and absolutely canes it.
Yeah.
Try to rip the net.
A stupid decision. But yes.
Especially with Fulham in that period of in the bottom of the league, they need points, and that's a massive thing to do. Last kick of the game, there's a point on the line.
Well, the way I look at it is I predicted 3-0, and we hit the post once, and we was all over them. We could have had more, just wasn't clinical enough. And I think part of that
crossbar as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I think part of that comes down to Sebastian Haller being a bit shit.
Don't talk to me about shit, Striker Sunshine. We'll come on to that.
Team, isn't it? Sebastian Haller.
You can buy him for 30 million quid. It's like...
hold my beer, mate. We'll come to that.
How many have you got, Mike?
Shut up. We are now going to... Oh, sorry. Is there any more thoughts, comments on the West Ham Fulham game?
Win's a win. Like it was.
Yeah, well done to West Ham.
It was 1-0, but I take it. I'm happy with that.
Derby win.
Best team in London, mate.
You into 12th?
Something like that.
12th?
Yeah, we're above Manchester United.
Arsenal, aren't they?
We're a point behind City and Arsenal, so I'll take it at this point in the season. 8 games in.
Sorry, I had a robotic fart going on just then. I don't know what the hell was going on and what was said, but yeah.
Don't worry about it. Just move on. Move on.
Right, so the next game we had was Manchester City versus Liverpool. Phil, as the resident Scouser, lead the way.
I ate. What can I say about this game? One good. We came away with a point. Away at Man City, that is pretty much a win in any sense of terms when we've got loads of injuries and blah, 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 blah. And especially the second half was just dreadful for us. We played well in the first half, really pushed them. We had 4 up front. Could you believe that? It was a selection headache between Salah, Mane, Firmino and Jota now. Then why don't you just put them all on and see what happens? Which was a surprising team selection, but it was good. One bad, another injury. Like every week goes by, we get another injury. But Trent Alexander-Arnold's out now. As potentially Alisson's picked up a little niggle as well, so he might miss the next game. But a good thing is we've got a couple of weeks now to recover and get back into it. So enjoyable game. Battles throughout the entire team. We pushed back and held on to the Man City storm that was there. I have to say I did like Jesus' goal that he scored. He tried to do a Bergkamp-esque Newcastle flick on. get around the corner. I think he miscontrolled it personally, but it looked like a good goal in the end.
I'm a little bit surprised, I've got to say, that wasn't on one of the selections for goal of the week, because I think personally, I think
close.
That, for me, that was an absolutely blinding goal.
You can't have goals that go against Liverpool on on goal of the week. No, it's never going to happen, is it?
It was very nearly in there, but I just love the fact that Grealish destroyed Bellerin, and that won it for me.
I think you're missing the point. It's goal of the week, not pass of the week. This is 2 weeks in a row now that you've done pass. That's no, the goal. The goal is putting the ball in the net. But anyway,
yeah, but it's the build-up. So if you had a goal where every Arsenal player touched the ball and there's amazing dribbling and all that sort of stuff, and then scores, that's a fantastic, amazing team goal.
Yeah, I see your point there. I see your point.
And this one was a great run by Grealish. And then a good finish.
I do have to. I take umbrage with that though, because Arsenal don't score goals. So it's unrealistic.
Shut up. So we're going on to. No, we're hang on. We haven't finished with this game yet. It's the tale of the penalties. I think is. I would think we need to highlight on this particular game.
I'm not saying anything.
You'll only get in trouble.
Yeah. But De Bruyne can't score.
No,
it's lucky it weren't even windier, was it, innit, really? When you look at the amount of times you fall over. I mean, come on.
Yeah, let's talk about this, because I know we briefly spoke about this earlier, but it's something I just wanted to get in to this podcast today. Sorry. Phil, the 2 penalty decisions, justified?
No issues with them at all.
Okay.
And what about Sterling's one? Where he attempted to stay up. Should that have been a penalty?
No, because it was body on body. He hit him in the hip, which is part of your body, and he just the strength pushed him over.
Well, Kyle Walker did foot on foot.
Foot on foot took his foot away.
So no, he did. He trod on it.
Yeah, he put his whole leg in front of side of his leg and took it out.
Some would say then that Kyle Walker's strength brought Mane down.
No,
Mane needs to get in the gym.
You take your leg out. Jota and Sterling, that was hip and hip.
Yeah, mate. That fishing game's good. I just feel like there was underlying messages when Klopp said, "I don't like playing in the wind," and that was just because his Liverpool players blow all over the pitch and fall over. They can't stand up. No strength in them. There's no strength and conditioning coaches at Liverpool.
So you think that was an underlying message even from the manager?
Yeah, and it was last season before, wasn't it?
Clips for you. I'll dig up some clips of how some of our players are riding challenges in the past and actually standing up and carrying on.
And I bet none of them are going to be Mo Salah in the box.
And there's a couple of Mo actually doing it.
I've never seen it.
Ah, that's good. You like it then?
Fake and gay, that's what I say.
Anyway, Mike.
Yeah.
What is your one good, one bad from this wonderful Arsenal game? What happened? I heard it was a great game for Aston Villa.
My one. I'll start off with the bad. So the bad news is...
How many bads was there? Were there 3 bads?
No,
or was there 4 technically because one got ruled out?
The one bad is that we didn't turn up. We were absolutely dreadful yesterday. Such an embarrassment to Arsenal Football Club, yesterday's game. I've seen a few interviews with fans, and everyone is outraged, rightly so. Mikel Arteta, when he came out for his press conference, you could tell he was really pissed off. The players need a massive reality check from when we come back from the international break. Again, I get the fixture congestion, but the manager needs to do something with the team because his current strategy isn't working. There doesn't seem to be a plan B, and we're not creating enough chances. and the chances that we are creating, we're not being clinical enough. I will hold my hands up and say, you can even go back and check the videos for the start of the season where I said I don't think that we're anywhere close to winning the league this year, but fuck me, did I expect us to be in a better position where we are now? Excuse my language. I've managed to keep my cool all day, and just thinking about the game yesterday has proper fucking rolled me up again. But so the one bad is that we were absolutely terrible yesterday. And I hope that something changes when we get back from the international break. The one good is that at least it wasn't 7.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you the one good is, Mike, you're on the equal points with Man City, 12 points, but they have got a game in hand. And you are above Man United as well.
Everyone's above Man United. They're like
18th.
18th.
Is above Man United.
Well, now, do you think, now, looking back in hindsight, leaving Ozil out of the Premier League squad was a huge mistake?
Yes, and I've said that all along.
Because
I was absolutely gutted when he wasn't announced in the Premier League squad. I think he's got to have some. There's something there. Do you know what I mean? He's definitely a talent, and I just don't get the logic. There's got to be something within the Arsenal hierarchy. It can't just be down to the fact that the boss doesn't fancy him.
No,
and I don't mean fancy him.
He's a good-looking player.
As in attractiveness. I think I don't know, and it's so frustrating that we can't even introduce him. Yeah,
it's political with China or something, from what I've read.
Is it to do with his background versus some of the clubs?
No,
I don't know.
From what I was having a discussion with Dan, he was telling me about some of the political statements he was making about slavery in China, and the club didn't like that because obviously they're trying to build a bigger fan base and a bigger base in China, and with the Chinese government being as corrupt's not the right word, but as obscure as obscure as they are, if they don't get on with you, that's it. None of your stuff's coming into China. You're not playing your games. You're not doing anything. And I think for the sake of one player and all that money or potential money, that's why they've done it. But it just seems very odd. He's not necessarily a player for me that would grab the game by the scruff of the neck and pull it over the line. But having a player
offer something more than what we've fucking got.
Yeah, and having a player of that quality, other players knowing that, put a ball into him, he can change a game in a second. He is one of them who can pick out a pinpoint pass from across the pitch and create something out of nothing. And I think it's just that knowing that he's there gives people a little bit more freedom of movement, doesn't it?
The thing that I was talking to one of my mates today about this, and he asked a good question. And the question was, do you think Arsenal have improved under Mikel Arteta? Now, if you'd have asked me that question going into this new season, I would say yes. Mm-hmm. But the way that we finished last season, granted, there was a couple of shit results, which we kind of expected because he hadn't had his time to put his stamp on the team. We're now coming up to him having a calendar year, granted a very disrupted calendar year, mm-hmm. In the Arsenal squad. He knows the team. Granted, there's a couple of new additions, some of the likes of Gabriel Magalhaes and Thomas Partey, which were his transfers, supposedly his transfers. He wanted him in. And on paper, I would say that they have improved us. We're definitely not as conceding, with the exception of yesterday. We're not conceding as many goals as what we have seen previously. Looking at the start of last year and the end of the year before, we were conceding goals. Where we needed to strengthen the defence, we've done that. We needed more of a spine in the midfield. We've now got that with Thomas Partey. We have seen moments of brilliance for El Neni. Dani Ceballos, again, he was brought on yesterday as a substitute. Again, he can have moments of brilliance, but so far this season, we haven't seen him hit the heights that he was hitting, at the back end of last season. Can I just put down yesterday as an off game? Yes, but we're 8 games into the league now. We've won 4, we've lost 4. That's not good enough. Not good enough at all. We need to start. And I suppose our only saving grace is that we've played some of the big hitters already. So we've got the Man U out the way, we've got Man City out the way, we've got the Liverpool out the way. We've got Spurs still to come. Leicester we've already done. So yeah, granted, but there have been some teams that have come up from the Championship or are embedded themselves into the Premier League that they are showing a lot of fight, or a lot more fight than what they have done previously.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this year is going to be an extremely weird year in terms of Premier League results. But I can't have us finishing out the top 4 again. We need to get a rocket up the arse. We need to recruit better in January.
We
need to. Sorry,
you need European football to actually bring in those top players to push you forward even more.
My question is. Sorry.
I was just going to say,
question after.
And the European stuff we seem to be doing all right with. But the funny thing is that it's our second string team, and I know they've got a point to prove, and the opposition hasn't been outstanding, but they're creating chances, they're getting goals, they're keeping relatively clean sheets. But again, that could be down to the opposition. But we've seemed to see more drive and fight in the people that we've got in the Europa League team than we do have in the Premier League team.
Mm-hmm.
Saka, Willock, one player, I'll tell you what, who I'm really looking back, Gabriel Martinelli. He hit the Premier League by storm last season, and I can't wait for him to come back, because I think as soon as he comes back, you either stick him out on the left, Aubameyang up top, or him through the middle and Aubameyang out on the left.
Yeah. So I've got 2 subsequent questions from what you said, just out of my own intrigue, really. Is one, you mentioned there about better recruitment in January. Where do you see improvement being needed? Because you've brought in Thomas Partey, Gabriel, who both, for me, are pretty solid signings. They've been your best players so far this season, I would say. You got Willian on a free, who had a stormer against Fulham and then has dropped off the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
You've got two £300,000 men at the minute. One in Aubameyang, who can't seem to find the back of the net, and the other in a player who's not in any involvement with the club anymore. So there's a lot of money tied in there. Where do you see improvement coming in January?
We need to get someone more creative. Again, that may be the case that once we get some players that we've got back from injury, we can then change the team up a bit. Because I think Saka's been brilliant. Granted, he had a bit of a funny game yesterday. Mm-hmm. But again, you can stick him out on the left. You've got, as I said, the Martinelli to come back and go out onto the left. Pepe, I'm still on the fence with him. Some days he's brilliant, some days he's crap. And the boss has come out and said that he needs to be more consistent, which is why he's not getting a start in the Premier League. Willian, I think he's got one more shot at starting a game.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't come up trumps, he needs to be dropped. And I know that's not going to do anything for his confidence, but again, something needs to change, because we're not seeing the player that left Chelsea.
No. And it's a results-driven business as well.
So Mike, what's driving him not to? Sorry, it's only a couple months. It was 6 weeks between the seasons. His first game was really good. Is there something tactically that's been done to stop the freedom or for him to play as he has done for multiple years with great success?
I've no idea. Unfortunately, I don't have any idea. Maybe he's a player that thrives on the atmosphere of the game.
But it could also be he's playing with a lot of new players as well. He was in that Chelsea team for 6 years. Mm-hmm. So by that point, you know that Mason Mount's making that run, or Eden Hazard as it was. You know that fullbacks are going to come overlapping without having to think about it. You just know that that's going to happen because that's what they do. coming into Arsenal, you've got to figure out all those little traits and runs from all those new players. So that may have something to do with it, but it's not something you can see. If he was a new player coming into the Premier League that didn't know the language, you'd go, give him 6 months. He knows the language. He knows the Premier League. That time span then does go 6 weeks, doesn't it? It's not what's your excuse after that.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. And it's so hard because even I was so buzzing when he come into the team. And another player I've got to mention as well, because at the start of the season, or certainly for the first few games into the season, I was singing his praises. And I ended up having arguments with people on social media about this particular player, just because I was like, "Are you mad?" But I kind of no, I am backtracking. There's no other way of putting it. I'm backtracking. Alex Lacazette, he has been, for the first 3 games, he got 3 goals in 3 games. And people were going, "Oh, but he misses all the big chances, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, well, how can you say that? He's got 3 goals in 3 games. Last season, he wasn't bad, but then again, he wasn't playing much. But just certainly over the last few weeks, again, I'll hold my hands up. I've been so disappointed with the fact with this guy that I was kind of like defending to my back teeth with about sticking up for him and all that sort of stuff. And we've had 2 or 3 games now where he's had clear chances and he's fucked it. And we can't afford that. We know we're not. I heard that we're 19th in the league in terms of chances created. That's not good enough. With the players that we've got, that is not good enough. So any chances that we do get, we need to be fucking clinical with. Now, it's not working.
There was a massive chance he missed yesterday. And is with Lacazette, is that the fact that he hasn't had that playing time and there's rustiness there?
No, do you know what? I will say it now. I don't think he's good enough.
He's not prolific enough for a top 4 club.
Which is why I'm so anxious to get Martinelli back. I know he's not due back until the end of the calendar year, which is great because I think he's doing more outdoor training now. He's kind of steadily building it up, and he's coming back from a horrific injury in terms of rebuilding and all that sort of stuff. And I know it takes time in order to get through all that, but honestly, he can't come back quick enough. And Aubameyang as well, since he signed his contract, it's an average.
Now, I do have.
And this was our standout player.
I do have another question for you, and this relates to the goalkeeper. Obviously, we see Emi Martinez playing for Aston Villa now, and you can see the dramatic effect in Sheffield United's team after having a good goalkeeper to having an average goalkeeper. Arsenal are known for playing out from the back, and one of the things that we discussed last season and that Arteta seemed to believe was that he was a good shot stopper, but his distribution wasn't as good as it needed to be in the squad. Do you think that removing him from the squad is why you're not being so creative? Because although his distribution may not have been as good, there was that confidence knowing he was, if there was a mistake made, generally he's going to keep it out of the net.
I said it at the start of the season. I was gutted that we got rid of him. For me, Emi Martinez brings a confidence to the back. To the back line. I don't think there's any coincidence that when he come back in, we had our better time or our better spell. I really think we balls it up there.
Won 2 trophies with it, didn't you? And keepers make a big difference. Look at Chelsea at the moment. They've changed keeper to Mendy, and they've been driving forward and forwards and forwards. It's been incredible. Same with us, with Alisson from years ago when we were leaking goals left, right, and centre.
To be fair,
French goalkeeper in, and bam.
I'll give Leno his dues. He kept us in a better place last season than I'm kind of letting on for. But there was nothing I don't think he could have done about those goals yesterday.
No, there was some absolute bullets in there, weren't there?
I will stand up for Leno there, but for me personally, I think we've missed a trick with Martinez there. I would have kept him in the team. Why change something that was working so well? I know obviously we needed money for transfers and all that sort of stuff, but for me, I think we missed a trick with Martinez there.
What did he go for? 10 million? Something like
that? I think it was 17 start off with increase up to 23, I think it was.
I was going to say a substantially sized transfer. Then I didn't think it was that much.
Yeah.
So coming in, who's you? If you could have one player to bring in January to try and fix it or make better, what player would you bring in?
Strangely, it wouldn't be a transfer. I'd get Ozil in.
Yep.
I know that sounds stupid because I said about we need to recruit better, but we need to think about replacing him anyway.
Yep.
Because he's in his last year of his contract. He's already said that he's not going to go until his contracts run out. But I would. He's been a loyal servant to the club for 12 years, since 2012. I think he came in 12, 13. He definitely deserves his last hurrah. But yeah, I would get him back in the team.
Do you think he'd come back?
I think he would, given the opportunity to. But I don't think we'll see him again in an Arsenal shirt.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Coming in.
Ian, will you join me in giving Mike and all Arsenal fans a big hug? After that, he needs a hug.
No. But we've been relegated to the Championship twice. No one gave me a hug.
To be fair, I don't think I knew you when you got relegated last.
No, 2011 was it?
No, I didn't know you then.
Interesting.
It might have been on the cusp, but I don't think I knew you in 2000. Anyway, moving on. They don't need to know our backstory. I love you though. So moving on to Ian's new favourite intro for a subject.
Roll that clip.
Bloody VAR bastard! VAR! VAR controversy. We have seen lots of bad decisions this weekend, but there's also something I think we should point out. We'll go with the positive first.
Okay.
My positive would be that we have seen more refs using the pitch side monitors at fucking last. However, some of those decisions have been fucking terrible. Yeah. Anyone want to mention the blatantly clear and obvious standout error from the weekend?
What, you mean Patrick Bamford?
Yes.
He goes, I want the ball there.
And
this goes back to, I just want to say this. This just goes back to something that Peter Crouch said when VAR was introduced. And he said that had he been playing when VAR was introduced, he would have been a lot offside a lot more because of the length of his arms and his legs.
When you look at the line that they've drawn it from the nearest defender. And that is because they haven't got the angle to draw it on the offside camera to the far defender because he's being blocked by Patrick Bamford, the view of him. But when you look at the pictures of it, the player who is on the far side of the pitch is playing him onside to where that line's drawn. So they're not even
out.
But again, was that clear and obvious? No, that must be a goal.
No.
It's
the bit that annoyed me about this was this clutching at straws bollocks that they come out with. Sorry, I must apologise for my language tonight. It's been absolutely terrible. I do apologise, but this reason that they gave was because of the changes of the handball rule this year, coming down to the sleeve. So technically you could control it with anything above the sleeve, because that was in an offside position, and technically he could control it with that part of the arm. That is why that was given offside.
But who's ever scored a goal with their armpit?
I don't know.
One of them. The other one that I wanted to mention that was an absolute shocker, although
Was
before,
that one?
no, it was Max Kilman got given as a handball as he's running. Right, so
yeah.
Joe Gomez had a similar one. But if you're running, that is your natural thing, and you see they played it on the pitch side monitor, but in slow motion. So is there intent there? No. Is it outside of a natural silhouette? No, because he's at full sprint. So what point has he got the opportunity to move it out of the way? No, it doesn't meet any of that criteria, so it shouldn't have been a penalty. So in some senses, that one was made itself right, because the one that was a penalty was then missed by Jamie Vardy. So it's sort of yin and yang. But you see at half time, the bloke who's in charge of VAR was, I don't want to say shouting because you couldn't hear him, but he was telling the bloke with some intent and using the actions of running and shaking his head. And you're like, I don't think everyone was happy with that decision. But why did they play it in slow motion? Play it in full speed so you can see what's happening. Yes, because slow motion, yes, it looks like he's put his hand out to touch the ball. Realistically, he's full sprint. He's got no idea where that ball is. He's just running back.
I think the only consistency that I've seen in VAR this weekend is that we had a goal offside against Leicester, I think it was, for Granit Xhaka supposedly blocking the refs. Blocking the goalkeeper. Thank you.
Yeah.
His line of sight. Now, when we conceded that goal yesterday, I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, this is a good start." And to the point where it come up as VAR, and I was like, "What? Why are they gone to VAR for that?" And they were saying that Ross Barkley was blocking Bernardo's view.
Yeah,
So I appreciate,
right in front of him.
I appreciate that we got that decision, and I'd appreciate the consistency. But even at full speed, I looked at that and I was like, "Oh, that's just crap defending from us." Again, we've ballsed it up.
And I think the only reason that he was played offside was because of crap defending. I think if he'd been being marked by who he should have been being marked for, he should have been onside. So I think that's just lucky in the fact that he was a little bit slow off the mark.
Yep.
Do you think they're looking now for every goal for a reason not to give it?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose they have to, don't they? Because they've said that every goal will be checked by VAR.
Well, we are on course for a record amount of penalties given in this season. We already have had 40 in 80 games. And from a stat I see, it's about 2 weeks ago I see it, so it's probably outdated now. Or I know it will be outdated now. If we carry on at the same rate as what penalties are going, by the end of the season, there will have been 400 and something odd penalties.
Jesus.
Which will be a record by like that's if you take the most penalties ever given in a Premier League season, it's like 4 of those seasons on the trot, but in one season.
Jesus.
So it just goes to show it's complete mockery, isn't it? Really.
It's pretty much one every 2 games, isn't it? It's awful.
Yeah, one every other game at the minute. Not good.
No. Right, shall we move on? Any other comments?
No. Just
okay. So we'll go on to the score update. So as you know, each week we do for the season, we go through our predicted games, give us with the current year that we've got. I appreciate because we've already got the group stages and all that sort of stuff ready for next year, haven't we? You didn't press record, did you? Oh no.
But no. Since Mike dropped out, I paused it and it just did, when I pressed it, it didn't unpause. So what we haven't got is score updates. So I got 2 points. Phil got 1 point.
1 point.
And Mike got 2 points. Mike's winning by a long way. Quick catch up. Nobody cares.
Let's do it really
International
quick.
breaks are rubbish. Glorified Club World Cups. Phil wasn't listening.
It's about FIFA. I was listening. I just couldn't be bothered to answer about it. But it's all about the points ranking system, because you need to play games to be in a ranking.
But would you not rather play a game and see your country win 22-0?
I would love to see that, but then at the end of the day, if it's a poor team, you don't get a very good ranking score.
Don't care.
And you end up like 6th or 10th or 12th or 15th.
But what fucking difference does the ranking make? Fuck all difference.
Cups, isn't it?
I think I think it is seedings for like World Cups and Euros. But at the end of the day, who cares? If you're going to win, you're going to have to beat that team at some point. Why not beat them in the early stage, knock them out early doors? Yeah. Rather than win knackered 8 games in.
Are we actually recording this bit now?
Yeah, we are, yeah.
I was going to say, let's hold fire and do it. To talk about this when we're actually recording.
No, we'll miss the other bit about international breaks being ridiculous.
Yeah, they're
boring. We've summarised and moved on.
Yeah. Shall we summarise the games? So England have got 3 games.
Yeah, so we got England versus Republic of Ireland, Belgium versus England, England versus Iceland. Let's take your scores because we need to put these predictions in. Ian, give me your scores for England versus the ROI.
3-0. England.
England versus Belgium.
2-1 Belgium. Well, actually, no. Because of some Belgian players who play abroad are not allowed to travel. Ones who are in Italy and other places can't attend. So 1-1.
England versus Iceland, and we must put a caveat in here because there have been certain restrictions placed which may mean this game may not go ahead. So
2-1 England.
Phil, Republic of Ireland.
4-0 to England.
I think you lot are doing Ireland out of a disservice here. Belgium versus England.
I shall go 2-1 England.
And England versus Iceland if it goes away.
If it goes ahead, I shall go 3-0 England.
Okay, so England versus Republic of Ireland. I'm going to go 2-1 to England. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring, but I do think that we will concede. Belgium versus England. I think we're going to get beaten, so I'm going to go 2-1 to Belgium, regardless of any players they've got out suspended or not being able to travel, blah, 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 blah. England versus Iceland. I'm going to put us down as 1-1. There we go. That's the predictions. Any more comments? Because we're not really a massive fan of the international breaks. Any more comments from anyone?
I hope they scrap the international break as well as the pay-per-view scheme.
Okay, which then leads us on to very nicely any other business.
I've read that they're going to be scrapping the pay-per-view scheme while we're in lockdown. However, the international break is 2 weeks? That will mean there'll be one weekend of football where it's free, and then they'll put it back on pay-per-view.
Yeah, there's a little bit snidey about that, isn't it?
Their figures must be going. Well, unfortunately, some people are still watching it. So some money's better than no money. So I don't think they care. But there are a lot of fixtures that would have normally been on Sky, that are now no longer on Sky or BT. and then now, oh, you have to pay extra. It's like, well, that one would usually be on there. And that's what's winding me up. And I think I might cancel me Now TV just because taking liberties.
I did read somewhere that the media platforms, such as Sky, BT, they have expressed an outrage in the fact that they're not happy in broadcasting games that they're not getting paid for.
I think that's because there's been such public outrage. I think if everyone went, yeah, all right, and went along with it, they'd be more than happy. Because why would you not raise those concerns and say we don't want any part of it? You extra games put on, but not on our platform.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the talks of this Premier League all-in package that was going on the end of last season? What happened to that?
Again, well, we've spoke about this before. I definitely think because the money would go back into the Premier League, they wouldn't have to have they wouldn't have to be paying the broadcaster or these broadcasters. In fact, no, because the broadcasters actually get a lot of money through sponsorships and stuff, so I can understand why. But regardless of what happens, the Premier League own the football. If they then want to take that away and generate the money through their own means, happy days.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just not making money for it. I've just done a quick bit of looking around for numbers, and the last couple of games, like 10,000 people.
Nothing, is it?
Yeah, per game.
What, that have bought the game?
Yeah, which is nothing. Like the first one they said it was like 39,000. The first couple of games were pretty much 40,000 viewers, but it's just gone. People,
and if you think about that,
charity than actually watching it.
Yeah, and I did see that they've raised something ridiculous.
I think Newcastle game was 20,000, which is a lot of money.
So they've, I couldn't believe the volume, the amount of money that's been raised. Where people have said they would rather go or give their money to charity than input money into these pay-per-view games. I think it's a joke with the country and the state that it's in at the moment. I appreciate it could potentially be a lot of money for these businesses, and but businesses need money to run.
They're not the businesses that need the money, though.
That's what I was just about to say. When you we've said this before with the whole mental health thing, that it's with how important football is to people in their lives. For us, I know it's not life or death situation, or it could be for you guys. I'm only making the assumption that if I didn't watch the football, granted, I would be a little bit annoyed because it'll probably be the missus as the reason that I've missed the football, but I wouldn't break down about it. Whereas some people, they need football to live, don't they?
It's nice release. It's something to distract you, something to look forward to. We said last week.
It's that sense of community, isn't it?
It's someone's highlight of the week to watch their game. It's what they're passionate about. It's the thing that they look forward to all week. And if you take that away and just suddenly, when it was 6 months ago, it was free to watch if you already paid subscription, and suddenly now it's you have to pay to watch this on top of already paying to watch other games.
And if you think about the people that, touch wood, have unfortunately lost jobs because of the pandemic, again, they're getting their fix, their bit of enjoyment at the moment, and they're now having to pay more money on top of the money that they don't have to potentially be able to watch their team. I think it's disgusting.
Although, what I do want to say is I don't agree with the BBC and the TV licence, but well done to the BBC, who showed a load of first-round fixtures on iPlayer, and they were all non-league teams. Canvey, big up the Canvey, beat Banbury. Only team in Essex now that are through to the second round, from what I understand.
And I did hear as well that Wigan got knocked out yesterday by a non-league team as well. I can't remember, Chorley, or I can't remember who it was. Someone beginning with a C on pretty much. But yeah, they knocked out the 2002 12 winners.
Yeah, they beat Man City, didn't they?
There we go.
Will Grigg's not on fire anymore. I don't even think he plays for Wigan anymore. He's at Sheffield Wednesday, I think.
Yes, right. I think that draws this episode to Phil, word of the week. Go for it.
Will Grigg is on fire.
Hashtag Will Grigg is on fire.
Who is that stuff to
yeah, so if you are still watching, firstly, thank you very much for sticking with us for as long as you have. Do appreciate the new subscribers that have done to the channel, which then leads me on to, if you haven't already, I said it at the start of the video, please like and subscribe to us. If there's anything you want to see on the channel, give us a comment, tell us what you want us to do. Check out our stuff on Twitter. We're on there daily. We've got videos coming out 2-3 times a week, depending on what fixtures are playing, etc. You look like you want to say something there.
Keep an eye out. Football Manager comes out on the 24th, but the beta is meant to be being released like any minute now, according to rumours. Like I think we need an FDT. Mate, my brain is frazzled with excitement. The FDT-TV Football Manager series. I think we need
that'll be one. That'll be one for you two, because I have got the attention span of a gnat, and
you only have to play one game. You only have to play one game a week.
All right.
Okay. We can discuss team selection. We can put it out to the fans who they want to see us try and sign, and then we can get sacked very quickly.
we should let the public decide who we sign, who we put in the formation. Well, I suppose we can't really do that, can we? I don't know.
We can do that.
But yeah, you'll have to lead that one then.
That's
because fine. I have absolutely no idea on that. Yes, and so thank you very much for that. God, it's happened twice. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Mike.
I've been Ian.
I've been Phil.
We'll catch you next week.